Your champagne kisses taste just so sweet. Oh, LA mist is keeping me on my feet. I'm lonely now. What's going on? What's going on? So come on home me, let me just breathe. Be my fantasy, be my ecstasy. Come on home me, let me just breathe. Be my fantasy.
Hello mates, I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be going through a list of some of the artists that I want to get tattooed by in the future. I'll post all of the artists' Instagrams in the description. I don't know if I will end up getting tattooed by all these different artists, but they're just people whose work I really love and have notifications turned on for on Instagram so I can admire their work every single time that they post a photo of it. The majority of these artists are based in the UK and Europe, although I do follow a ton of artists in other regions as well. It's somewhat unlikely that I'll be tattooed by the artists who are further afield though, so I tried to keep this somewhat realistic. Okay, so first up, this is the first tattoo artist that I remember following on Instagram back in the day. I think maybe that was around 2014, and they've only continued to get better since then. And that person is Adam Hudson, who's on Instagram as Hudson Tattoo. Adam specialises in black work traditional tattoos, although he does sometimes do coloured traditional tattoos as well. I love black work traditional. I don't actually have any of it on me at the moment, but it's something that I really want to get in the future, and I think Adam is just the king of this particular style. It's just the cleanest line work and shading that you've ever seen. What a talent. Adam works out of Lock and Key Tattoo in Worcester in the UK. Next on my list to get tattooed by is Dani Queipo, whose Instagram handle is Dani Queipo, no spaces. I think that's how you say it, Queipo. Dani specialises in coloured traditional tattoos, although he uses like an extended colour palette and we use a lot more colours than you typically will see in traditional tattoos. I love how vibrant and colourful Dani's tattoos are. Again, his line work and shading is phenomenal. I just love how he's got a pretty modern take on like a really classic style of tattooing. Dani works out of Leather Lane Tattoo Parlour in London. The next artist on my list is Samuele Briganti. Their Instagram handle is at Samuele Briganti. Another coloured traditional artist. There's going to be a bit of a theme here just because that's the style of tattoos that I'm really in love with and really want. Samuele's tattoos are the most vibrant and eye-catching tattoos that you've literally ever seen in your life. I love his colour palette. He chooses to put a lot of orange and yellow in his work, which contrasts so beautifully with the red that you typically see in a lot of his tattoos. Beautiful lines, beautiful shading, and just overall really beautiful work. Samuele works out of Bold Will Hold, which is in Florence in Italy. I've never been to Italy, but this guy's tattoos are enough to make me want to. Okay, if we then move on to the next artist, we have Wayne Fredrickson. Another artist who does colour and black work traditional style tattoos. I first discovered Wayne's work actually on YouTube. He has a channel where he posts videos of his work, interviews with his clients, advice on tattoos, and just vlogs and just about his daily life as a tattoo artist. I would highly recommend checking out his work and his YouTube if you haven't already. He comes across like the sweetest dude in the world. I first came across his work in 2017 and found out he'd actually been in the UK just a few weeks beforehand and was tattooing in London, and I'd actually missed my chance to get tattooed by him. Wayne's work is super simple, classic traditional tattoos that will stand the test of time. I really love his work. Wayne works out of Unite and Win Tattoo in Riverside, California. Okay, if we then move back to UK-based artists for the moment, the next person on my list is Mark Mcilvenny, who is at Mcilvenny Tattooer on Instagram. Mark does really simple coloured traditional tattoos. He pretty much only uses black, red and yellow / orange in his work, which makes for these really clean and really bold designs. I love his simple colour palette. I love how dark the tattoos are, but how they still really pop. Mark works out of Fat Fugu in Northampton, but he's always guest spotting all over the place. So if you love his work as much as I do, keep an eye out. Next on my list, I have Chris Jenko, who is Chris_Jenko_tattooer on Instagram. Chris specialises in fine line traditional tattoos. Now, I tend to favour big, bold outlines around my traditional tattoos, but the quality of this guy's work could absolutely make me want to make an exception. Again, these are tattoos that absolutely leap off your skin right into your eyeballs. I love how much character is in his tattoos, despite being really simple. It's just really, really beautiful work. Chris works out of Ultimate Skin in Leeds. Right, let's get a little bit of feminine energy in here now, shall we? Next on my list is Emma Arietti, who is at arietti.tattoo on Instagram. Again, Emma specialises in coloured traditional tattoos. She does a mixture of like really classic looking traditional and more of like a kind of horror influenced images. If I was to get tattooed by her, I'm more likely to go with a more classic looking design, but I absolutely love the creativity that she shows in some of her more horror influenced work. These are super bold tattoos, again, loads of character, and you can tell an Emma design when it pops up on your Instagram feed without having to check the handle. I think she's just unbelievable at what she does. Emma works out of Two Coins Tattoo in Hitchin in Hertfordshire. Okay, time for another American based artist who I believe is actually originally from the UK. I'm talking about Buddy Love, who is Buddy Loves Tattoos with 2 S's on the end of tattoos on Instagram. I first came across Buddy through TikTok. He shares a lot of really funny and really creative TikToks based on his life as a traditional tattoo artist, as well as being a massive emo, which is what made me first pay attention to him, which then made me in turn look at his work. Buddy does really old school, classic looking traditional tattoos with like a super basic colour palette. Great line work, great saturation, old school designs. I love it. Buddy works out of Master Tattoo in San Diego, California. Next on my list is William Cioncolini, who is Chonka_tattoo on Instagram. Again, I'm sorry if I butchered the fuck out of that name. William's another artist who's doing colour traditional tattoos, whose colour palette uses a lot of black, red, orange and yellow. His work is just fucking stunning. I mean, the tattoos are so bold, so full of life, and it's ridiculous to me that someone can create such masterpieces with just needles and ink. It is just insane how good these tattoos are. They're so clean, so technically sound, and I'm so in awe of them. William also works out of Boulderhold in Florence. I would love to visit that studio and get tattooed by both William and Samuele. Lastly on my list is actually someone who's a local artist to me who goes by the name of Will Thompson, who is at Thompson Tattoos on Instagram. I actually talked about Will's work in a previous video because Will is somebody who I would love to get my back done by when I eventually get around to getting a full back piece. Will is actually a bit of a jack of all trades. He does a lot of black work, some more kind of ornamental work, and of course he does traditional. Will's renowned locally for how quickly he tattoos and states that he can actually tattoo twice as fast as most other artists, yet his work doesn't in any way look rushed. Will truly is a master of his craft, and it's insane to me how clean his work is considering how quickly he can just smash it out. His work also heals incredibly well. He is the king of large scale work. He does incredible front and back pieces. It's just mental. Will works out of Heritage Tattoo in Brighton. And that is it. Those are the artists that I want to get tattooed by in the future. This is not by any means a comprehensive list. There are loads more artists out there that I would want to get tattooed by, but I wanted to condense it down to just 10. I would love to hear which artists you guys love and want to get tattooed by. Let me know in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, give it a like, hit the subscribe button and all that other YouTube bollocks. If you like the music that you're hearing in the background, it was actually all produced by me. I have another channel where I post beats / instrumentals that I've made for singers to use to write songs to, so if that is something you're interested in, I'll put a link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.